Okay, so when you're complete, just look over that list for a second. How close are you to living those things, to being that person who does all of that stuff on that day? Comment? Was that a comment? Oh, okay. Okay. Was that is that what you're doing? Kind of, maybe, yeah. Okay. All right. And so I love this from this teaching. Now, the universe supports you. The universe that is spirit, that is God, is absolutely supporting you 100%, okay, in every way. And whether we're going to accept it or not is our own inner work, right? It's our own choosing if we're going to let it support us or not. But the truth is that you owe the world a life. I love that. You owe the world a life. The world doesn't owe you anything. The universe does. God does. But you owe the world a life. And what I mean by that is, as the expression of the divine life, we've been all waiting for you. Every person that's here, every person that you meet, everything that you do in your life, you're called to be you there. And you owe all of us to be you fully. Okay? To bring forth the desires of your heart, because let me tell you, if there's no separation, the desire of your heart, of what you want to create in your life, is God's desire as you and through you. There's another common phrase in New Thought: God can only do for you what it can do through you, right? God can only do for you what it can do through you. And that's by you becoming who you've come here to be. All right? So those desires have been placed by the divine there. So if you want to be a ballet dancer, you better go and be a ballet dancer. Start studying. If you want to be a painter, you start painting. If you have an idea for a book, start writing it. If you have an idea to design a house, design a house. If you want to go travel and be a travel writer, be a travel writer. You got to do it. It's not there as a whim. If it's something that's a true desire of yours, you find a way to do it. And make the declaration, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and everything in the universe will rise to support you. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, all nature rises to support the freedom of the individual, that it may unloose its own energy. All of the universe, all nature conspires for your good. It's trying to do its own work through you. And the only way that we are inspired to figure out what it is that we're doing is by those desires of our hearts. And so that thing that keeps coming up, right? We usually have one. That thing that keeps coming up in our mind, that thing that keeps speaking to us and we keep pushing it away. No, I got to make my first million first. Oh, no, I got to get this taken care of first. I need to do this first. You don't need to do anything first but what God is wanting you to do for you. And I'll tell you, when you do that first, everything else falls in line. And the whole world is waiting for you to do what you need to do. Okay, we got that? And so that's part of that list. Did anything come up from that list anybody wants to share? Or any thoughts so far? Any questions? I'm used to a little bit more interactive here, so 1 second, he'll be right there. Thanks, Carl.
Hi, I'm Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi. Thanks for having us here tonight. I've noticed that, and I'm sure maybe other people realize this, nothing had to do anything with money. It was all about being close, for me anyway, to people I love.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I put down was thank the people I love for being in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gratitude, that's so important. And I think there was another one here. Is there someone here? Miss Solange?
The surprise to me largely is that almost everything on my list is just really simple stuff that I do nearly daily.
Good.
And the few things that aren't on the list are the ones that I really am going to pay more attention to.
There you go. There you go.
We'll make it a short pass. Mine, and interesting to me when I finished the list of 10, was that it's something I should be doing daily regardless of how long I'm going to live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because those are the things that you love, right? And the things that you love are expressions of who you are. And those expressions of who you are expressions of God, right? Because the divine love, the divine presence is spirit itself. And so we can be nothing but the channel of that divine love and that divine light. It's the only way it comes into the world. And so that's what I mean when I say that you owe the world a life. Is there anybody else? Oh, great. He's coming. Carl's getting his exercise tonight.
Good evening, I'm Sunshine, and I noticed that when I got down to about, let's see, I think I had 1, 2, 3, I only had five or six items. But if I had it to do for the last day of my life, I'd spend more time doing those things, like, visiting family or doing things that I wanted to do. But it would be, there was no room for 10. I could spend all my time doing the first 6.
Uh-huh. Quality. We're going for quality, not quantity. Great. Okay. All right. So moving forth in how do we move forward in being who we've come here to be? First we let go of all the stuff that we had. Then we talked about the creative process, right? That's where we're headed. And then the importance of us being who we are. Now, being in the world, how we are in the world is, how do I want to say this? It's an opportunity to bring forth that divine light, okay? And so there are, like I said, there are choices that we make in how we are in the world. So we can be engaged in everything that's happening on that level, or we can step into the spiritual realm and live by spiritual principle and separate ourselves out a little bit, okay? And so what that's called is it's called rising above the law of averages, all right? Now, for those of you students of the science of mind, we know that the law of averages comes from Thomas Troward, who was one of those men who Ernest Holmes studied. And so the law of averages means this. When we're listening to CNN, back on CNN, when we're listening to our news channels and they say that 40% of people between 40 and 65 years old have been laid off, something like that, some horrific statistic. Whatever the statistics of people losing income and all of those, what you do is you rise above them. They don't affect you. Isn't that nice? So just by being here, being conscious and awake, hopefully I'm keeping you all awake here, just by being that, then you're rising above that, okay? So we're living in consciousness rather than in rule of the material world, okay? What's happening in our culture or in the world right now. So congratulations, just by being here, you're rising above the law of averages. Now, when you go back out into the world, and you go back into your life, it's about making choices that's going to support you in staying above the law of averages, right? And so that's why we do all of those things that are on that list, about being in nature, about taking our meditation time, about being conscious of who it is that we are and what we've come here to be. And so it's important to remember that where your attachments are that pull you back into what it is that's going on out there, because that doesn't really exist. Is that making sense? You get it? Little nods. So what we're trying to do is get to the place where you figure out what it is that ties you in to living in the material realm. Okay, so where are our attachments? Where are those buttons that get pressed that the fear response comes up? All right, what are those things? Where are those moments where we get nervous? Okay, that you can't see God in it. So that's my question for you. Anybody have situations? Where is it? What are those moments? What are those things that happen in our lives that it's hard to see God in the middle of it?